The last time you heard from me, I took the college football world by storm. National championship appearance, Heisman trophy, completely dominating the game at an entirely different level. After losing the national championship, I had to fly back home to Cedar Hills, Texas, be around some family, friends, take my mind off of things. But what transpired within the first 24 hours of me being home, you won't believe. At that time, I had something a lot of people like to call survivor's remorse. Like I owed everyone that ever been around me before I made it to this level. The day before I flew back in, I went to the bank, pulled out 30,000 cash so I can go back to the hood, spread some love, show everyone, and even prove to myself that I'm not Hollywood. I haven't forgot where I came from. And before I even went to link with any of my immediate family, I found myself in the middle of the hood, hanging out, chopping it up with guys I haven't talked to in nearly 2 years. And that right there was the biggest mistake I could have possibly made. Now I know a lot of y'all are confused. How did I go from being accused of a triple homicide to now being here at the Air Force Academy? We're gonna get into that, trust me. Now like I said, I'm on the block, handing out money, showing love. Everybody knows my name, face. I'm like a neighborhood hero in a sense. But as we all know, when there's a lot of love and positivity in the air, that evil, that negative is lurking around the corner, ready to strike at any given moment. Now at this point, I've been away at school for a year, completely oblivious to what's going on in the neighborhood, not knowing that the guys that I'm hanging out with right there in that very moment had been up to no good. Time had gotten away from me. I've been on the block for hours. Now the guys are peer pressing me into hitting the cup, and I'm partaking in some substances that I've never taken in my life. It's around midnight, and at this point, everything is moving in slow motion. I'm completely out of my body, but I'm still attentive, and I peep everything that's going on. Out of my peripherals, I see a white Toyota Corolla creeping up with no lights on. But at this point, nobody paid any attention to it. Plus, the car just pulled over, parked on the side of the road, so I didn't think much of it. Maybe they lived in the neighborhood, I don't know. And it what felt like a matter of seconds, I hear car door slam, and somebody called my name. I look over, and it's this dude JT I went to school with back in the day. And I'm thinking, oh, that's just JT. It's all good. He pulling up, coming to hang out, say what's up. But little did I know he had bad intentions the second he laid his eyes on me. I reach out my hand to dap him up. He pulls out a gun and tells me off the rip, come up off everything I had on me. And before I can even say a word, one of the guys on the block, Lil Roy, steps in front of me. They get into a heated argument, and at this point, Roy draws his gun, and 2 more guys come out that same car. And at this point, shots get the ringing off. I just duck behind the closest thing to me. My heart is pounding out of my chest. And after what felt like forever, but ended up being 15 to 20 seconds of a full-blown war out there, it just came to a weird, silent, eerie stop. I finally got the courage to stand up, peep what's going on. But JT and them 2 other dudes that popped out that car, they ain't no longer here with us. And as for Leroy, hit twice in his leg and arm, leaning up against a streetlight pole. He looked right back at me and then fell to the ground. At this point, everybody has scattered from the block. It's just me and Roy out here, and I hear the police siren, so I know somebody made that call. And by the time they pull up, I'm face down with my hands being cuffed. While Leroy was being taken to the hospital, I was taken down for interrogation. And at that point, I couldn't get my words together to form a sentence. I was so under the influence, I couldn't even think straight. And at that point, it looked like straight guilt. They sent me down to the county with my one phone call, making this to my mama, telling her what's going on, my situation. Dog, it hurt me in ways even to this day I still can't explain. And to make matters worse, only 2 people that knows the truth is me and Leroy. I'm in the county for 6 weeks, going back and forth with my lawyer. And one day he showed up, told me Roy woke up from a coma, and told the absolute full-blown truth. Within a few days, I was processed and released. And the second I stepped foot outside that jail, full-blown media coverage, reporters asking questions, cameras being flashed. I couldn't have hopped off in that black truck quick enough. And over the next couple of months, my life felt like it was in complete shambles, utter chaos. One side of the media is ripping me apart, but the other side is being completely sympathetic to my situation. And at this point, I'm not even thinking about football. I just wanted my life back on track, to put all the pieces back together, get everything back in order. After watching my team handle the press the way they did, some of the best media management I've probably ever seen in my entire life, we were able to kind of restore my good boy image. And just when I thought the college football world would completely X me out and it would be hands off for every single school across the nation, it was the complete opposite. Not only would North Carolina take me back, but every school that offered me my senior year in high school also made it known that they would be willing to let me come onto the team on a full scholarship. Even though I thought my chances of getting back on the field were slim to none, I'm not surprised. I was the best player in college football, winning the Heisman trophy, and I had my team in the national championship. And at this point, it just feels like my senior year all over again. Do I return to Chapel Hill, try to pick up where I left off, or do I take my talents to a completely different program? But getting back on the field wasn't even about football for me. It was more so to get out, stay out, protect my peace, protect myself, so eventually I can provide for my family. At that point in time, I feel like the only place that could provide me with that level of discipline and just to be around the right energy was Air Force Academy. I would be far away from home, away from all the negativity and everything that came with it. Still be able to be in contact with my family, of course, but just in my own element. And after a few conversations with some very powerful people, I knew this was somewhere I needed to be. A place of discipline is how I see it. But by the time spring practice rolled around, I hadn't noticed how much I completely disregarded what this football team and this offense detailed. As I'm learning the playbook, working my way into that #1 spot, trying to become the guy of this team, I I noticed quickly that this is something like I've never experienced before. 80 to 90% of the time, there's a fullback on the field, which is kind of old school and just odd for me. I never experienced or played in any system like this, but nonetheless, run heavy. But with me being the number one back on the team and us having a run heavy offensive style, I have no problem, no issue whatsoever with the way things go. And with me being in the ACC my first 2 years of college, now coming down here to the Mountain West, without a doubt, I know I'm going to dominate. And when you compare the schedules when I was in North Carolina versus here at Air Force, it's almost like night and day. Still a lot of competition on both sides, but it almost don't compare. And what a lot of people might not notice this season just yet, especially this early on, we got some straight up animals on this team. Offensively, I feel like we're going to dominate and compete with some of the best teams in the country. But for me, this season is all about getting my focus back, my peace of mind, locking in on myself, getting back true to me. But with us getting out to a potential 3-1 start and getting a win over an undefeated team right here in week 4, I think this is going to be something nobody expected us to do. And depending on how long we can go on with a win streak, we might shock the entire nation, exceed all expectations that's been put on us by ourselves and the country. And when I was going through my situation, keep in mind, I was still working out, going harder than ever, worked on my physique, my speed, my balance, everything, core work, you name it. I'm better than I ever was. I came in my freshman season pushing nearly 250 pounds, now at around 228, pushing 230. I feel like this is my perfect in-season weight. Now I'm a little bit faster, lighter on my feet, a little more agile. I can get around the edge and I can still hit that hole and be dominant. And I gotta say, I like the direction we're going in. It's 4th and 3. We already up multiple scores and we still going forward, trying to make a statement. We coming out here to dominate against anybody we play against every single week. And then again, another 4th down situation. We could easily just kick the field goal, but instead we're gonna go for all the marbles and put up another touchdown to further this lead. Nearly 200 yards on the ground, 22 carries, 3 touchdowns, dominated, balled out per usual. But as a team, we're starting to come around and really be one of the better teams in the Mountain West. We 3-1 coming into this game against Nevada on the road too, and honestly, we playing better football than I thought we could this season. Offense firing off on all cylinders. Defensively, them boys kind of struggling over there, I ain't gonna lie, but we getting it done, putting up points, and that's all that really matter. Thus, having so many great backs in the backfield, dog, my stats have kind of taken the back seat compared to my sophomore year when I won the Heisman, but nonetheless, I'm still putting up good numbers. And with me, our fullback, our backup running back, and our quarterback all being run heavy and very dominant and effective when we get the ball, I gotta take advantage of every opportunity I can and go crazy. I think it's pretty clear and evident to everybody on this offense, in the country, this team, everywhere. Everybody knows that I'm the guy. When the ball is in my hands, that's when we have our best opportunity to break off a big play. And even though there's a huge talent gap between me and the other backs and a lot of guys in this conference, I've been at the top of the top. For some reason, I still don't have the big head or the crazy confidence that you think a lot of guys will have. Let me rephrase that. I got the confidence in my ability and myself as a player, but that cockiness, that arrogance that a lot of guys who've been to the top of the top have and they gain over time, I don't have that. You can chalk it up to humble beginnings, my situation that transpired over the last year, whatever you want to, but I love this balance, this mental state that I'm in that's allowing me to not only dominate on the field, but also have a great relationship with coaches, teammates, and everybody. And with the level of play we've been able to establish this week in the third quarter, already up 49-7. That is insane. Defensively and offensively playing lights out. And before we can even head into the fourth quarter, I put up yet another touchdown further in our lead. And I'm going to check out of here with the rest of the starters, kick my feet up, got my sunglasses and flip-flops on the sideline. Way less carries than I had last week, but more yards, putting up 2 touchdowns, a few receptions for almost $1, and 2 more touchdowns to pair with that. Went crazy, dominated. This is the kind of football I want to play all year. The level of camaraderie, brotherhood, and togetherness that this team had before I even got here was already amazing. But watching that rise and get better over time as we're winning football games is unlike anything I've ever experienced. And with us being at that midway point of the season with a 4-1 record and coming off a huge blowout win, it almost feels better than what I did when I won the Heisman. And that's crazy to say, being that we got a whole another back half of season to play. I feel like I'm making right on my wrong. Even though I had nothing but good intentions with my situation, I got to look at everything that transpired and put it all in the grand scheme. JT and them 2 other dudes, they wanted to come do harm to me for no reason, unwarranted, but they lost their lives that night, and somebody else lost their freedom stepping in trying to protect me. But a couple of facts that I'll never, ever be able to wrap my head around: 3 lives was lost that night. 4 families were completely impacted forever just because of my presence, just for me being around. It's crazy. That's another reason why I'm falling in love with the academy, this football team, this entire atmosphere. Oftentimes when they see me down, they pick me up, no hesitation. They don't allow me to soak in my sorrow. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons on a week-to-week basis I give it all I got. I leave it all on the field, doing everything I can to make the plays to put us in the best position to win. And this week, one of our most notable games of the season on our schedule against Navy, and we're on the road, a win here will be big time. And after pretty much leading the charge here on our first drive, marching my way into the end zone, picking up the first touchdown, striking first towards the back end of the first quarter. And even though we're a better team on paper, statistically and overall roster, you got to remember this is somewhat of a rivalry, so everybody's going to come to ball. And here we go with that offensive scheme that I found so weird and uncomfortable when I first came in. Somewhat of a wing T offense. I still can't believe they got this in their system. What can I say? We make it happen. When you got a quarterback or running back and multiple guys in the backfield that can get it done, it almost throws the defense for a loop every single week, no matter how much film you watch. And with me cracking nearly 200 yards on a week-to-week basis, I think it's pretty safe to say I picked up where I left off and I ain't miss a beat. Team is on a roll. We're on a win streak. Everybody's playing up to par. Everything about this season, period, is going way better than I expected. And believe me, I had no plans on coming out and entering the draft after this season, no matter how well I played, but to play this well and everything to be going the way it is, I'm not going to lie, it might be the best decision to come out and go ahead and go to the NFL. But on the flip side of that, staying here in college for another season might not be the worst thing in the world. But an even bigger question is, if I were to stay here in college, would I still remain here at Air Force or would I transfer? You won't believe the conversations I've had with coaches and teammates throughout this season. Coming into the year, a lot of coaches, teammates, and even outsiders already knew that I was going to come in and play to the best of my ability, be one of the better players in the country no matter where I was. And you even had guys on the team throughout spring practice, even up to the first couple of games, telling me that after this season, ball out and go somewhere else and go win a national championship, go complete the mission. But my thought process and my mindset here right now is, why can't we do that here at Air Force? Why can't we go to a national championship, win it all, be the best team we can be the best team in the country? You can't tell I'm a very positive thinker when it comes to stuff like this, because that is very far-fetched. It will probably take us another 2 to 3 seasons to compete against some decent teams and for our schedule to be amped up over time for us to even be able to compete for a chance like that. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, we win out the rest of the season. I don't see us being ranked no higher than 15, maybe 18, barely cracking the top 20. So I kind of understand what they were saying. Come here, compete, dominate, put up all of the stats and numbers that I possibly can, maybe even run it back and win another Heisman trophy and then go compete for that natty. And then on the other hand, you got a decision to go to the league, which I haven't been too inclined to do because the media has been tearing me apart. I mean, you literally have guys on national television saying I might be the biggest draft risk to ever be, and I don't understand that. I didn't do anything wrong. I know the situation was crazy, but come on, you can't do me like that. And even though I don't have as many as I did the first 2 years in college, the NIL deals are still keeping me afloat, allowing me to provide perfectly fine, so money isn't an issue. But it's always been every kid's dream to make it to the league, compete with, against, and become one of the best. I mean, if I had it my way, I'd stay in college for another 3 to 4 years and soak it all in. Milk this opportunity, milk this situation as much as I possibly can. I mean, look at all these fans in the stands. I don't think Air Force had this many people in attendance probably ever. But one of the main reasons why this is such a packed out game, this is one of our prime opportunities, our biggest test of the season, a ranked team, top 10 ranked team at that. Notre Dame is coming in here 5-2, and we got something to prove. Coming out of here with a win, without a doubt, would be the highlight of our season. We could lose the rest of the games and still be talked about at a high regard. But for them, they have everything to lose, being ranked within the top 10 and losing to a team that isn't even ranked. And I don't think my offensive line has blocked this good all season. Multiple holes to choose from. I can just have my way. Pick of the litter, picking up a first down on this play. We need a big play to really take this game over. And there's no bigger play than here on 2nd and 3, pulling off probably my nastiest run of the season. Probably one of my nastiest runs ever. Triple spin out to the outside, getting off, touchdown. Let's get it. And at this point, the guys are banking on me. Everybody in this offense, including the quarterback, is blocking for me as I go to the outside, picking up the first down, continuing to chew up that clock and pick up yardage. And even in the huddle, all eyes are on me. They counting on me, banking on me to step up and take us home. And I'm willing to do that. Put my body on the line, everything to make sure we get this win. And the run that would seal it all, now only having a 3-point lead in the 4th quarter, picking up this first down, we will survive Notre Dame. Number 10 ranked Notre Dame at that. This is a huge win, probably the biggest of the season. And you want to talk about being a workhorse, 30 carries, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns to take us home. How do we kick off a game against Army in the filthiest way possible, getting the entire offense and defense to go to one side of the field, slamming on brakes, cutting it back, going all the way up the field, just getting loose for a touchdown on the first drive of the game. And at this point in the season, I'm in full-blown active fool mode. Every team we play won't be nowhere near our status, especially in the Mountain West. So now we the team to beat. And every chance and opportunity I get, I'm here to show up and show out, completely playing to the best of my ability. 1st and 10, taking this up the left side, great blocking up front. It's to the crib once again in the first quarter. And even when you have 2 high safeties in open field, they can't even stop me. My elite speed and ability to make anybody look silly in open field is going to be king and reign over any and everybody I come against. To the crib for the 3rd time in this quarter. And in short distance, not too much speed or looseness or any juking ability needed. I'm going to just drop my shoulder and let you know that I'm taking it no matter what. And I thought last week I was talking to town, putting up over 300 yards, but this week coming out here swinging the bat this hard, 28 points in the first quarter and some, this how you ball. And at this rate, the way I'm toting the ball and the way my offense is blocking their tail off, I might be on the sideline chilling with my helmet off for the remainder of the game before we make it into the second half. But I can't even chalk all this success up to God, in my my ability, I gotta show my teammates some love. This program, dog, they've allowed me to take over this offense, take over this team in ways that I didn't even think of. Giving me the reins to this offense, the keys to the car, allowing me to drive the boat, and then getting it done in a multitude of ways. Getting to the outside using speed, hitting the hole with power, and also being a receiver out of the backfield. And just when I thought it'd be impossible to top my performance last week on damn near half the carries, but way more yards, nearly 450 and 8 total touchdowns, a game of the ages. With our season coming to an end and my big decision getting closer and closer for me to make, I'm getting kind of stressed out. But hold on, the fact that we're ranked number 24 in the country with the 8-1 record, even though we should be undefeated, is still insane. And it's kind of sad to see New Mexico be mediocre again. Back when they had that quarterback Tristan Massey, dog, they were going crazy. Last week, without a doubt, I had the greatest game for a running back ever in the history of the game. 400 plus yards, now that's crazy. And I think I've seen more by like Melvin Gordon or someone, but at the same time, 8 total touchdowns, you can't knock that. And now this week, even though we're facing an inferior opponent, trying to carry over that momentum and get things done to secure the win, and that's been my main focus. But no matter what decision I make at the end of the season, coming here to Air Force is hands down one of the best things I could have done for myself and my football career. Not only was I allowed to come here and ball out for the academy, but to be around a bunch of well-rounded, smart, educated individuals helped me reconstruct myself for the better. We're kicking out the fourth quarter with a pretty substantial lead. Defense has been playing lights out on the road, and that's amazing. Now we're trying to cap off this drive to really put this game away. And of course, short distance, everybody on the line, we punching this one in with ease. You can go ahead and add the rest of these numbers to the pile. More carries, more yards, and 4 more touchdowns to add on to the 8 I had last week. My family has been applying pressure, trying to do everything they can to influence, sway, and even dictate my next move. That's another reason why I said coming to the academy was the best decision for me. I'm so far away from that influence at home. Obviously, I'm just a phone call away, but they can't really get in touch with me. And I guess you can chalk it up and say it's peer pressure, but when your entire family's on one accord trying to get you to sway in one direction, it would be easy to cave in if you were in touch. So staying out of reach, focusing on football, focusing on the season and what's at hand, knowing that we got a lot of big games to cap off this season, that's been my main focus, and it's been tough, but it's what has to be done. After our first few home games, watching this crowd and the popularity of this program rise every single week has been special. We've jumped in the polls every single week since we got ranked, from 25 to 24 to 19, now to 18. Every single week it seems like no matter who we play, we're starting to rise. And I think it's safe to say if we were undefeated right now with a perfect 10-0 record, without a doubt, we would be ranked within the top 10. It took me a while to get used to it and actually like it, but these wide back tosses and handoffs are actually beneficial. Getting to the edge using my speed, and I got great blocks up front. It really ain't nothing better. Trying to go into the second half up at least 2 scores, giving it all I got, put my body on the line and try to put another touchdown on the board. The rest of the second and the entire third quarter did not go our way. We're down here in the fourth, which is something that haven't happened to us all season. Well, we haven't been down in the fourth since we took that one loss this season, but this 8 or 9 game win streak that we're on, we haven't faced any adversity. We've been pretty much dominating everything and everybody. But if you thought I was going to let us go out like that, you crazy. Getting the pitch from my quarterback, breaking the tackle, and from there, my elite speed is going to carry me into the end zone. Now we hold the lead. And at this point, it's all about killing that clock, getting as much time off as possible, getting the pitch again from my quarterback because it worked so well the first time around, getting to the outside, damn near taking this back to the crib again. But you know, in short distance, when we definitely need a score, go back to old reliable, that wide back handoff, almost stepping out of bounds without getting to the end zone. I balled out per usual, but a very tough game, close game at that. We didn't play well going into the second half, but we finished strong, and that's all that matters. From number 18 to 16, that'll cap us off for the season. The final game of the regular season against Colorado State. Man, it's been a journey. Haven't come to a decision if I'm going to play in our bowl game or not, but dog, can you believe that we balled out like this? Exceeded all expectations. We played well above anything anybody thought we would. And I haven't been too in tune with it all season, but to find out that I'm the leading candidate to win the Heisman yet again is kind of crazy. Not missing the season, but definitely going through something that would have knocked a player of my caliber way off the mark. Something you haven't seen me do too often throughout the entirety of the season, hitting a hole, finessing my way up the field, getting big yardage. My offensive line is crazy. But getting back to what I do best, making my way to the outside, using my elite speed to break off, picking up another first down while on first down. In Colorado State, striking first is kind of odd, but we put a touchdown of our own on the board here on 1st and goal. But after getting into the end zone for that touchdown, I fell on my shoulder kind of oddly, and it popped out of place. And as much as I wanted to thug it out for my teammates and get back out there, the training staff wasn't having it. I'm just glad that I was able to argue and fight my way back onto the field, but my dog Zach said he gonna pick up the slack and punch one in, keeping us in this game. He gonna ball. I'm in the most pain that I've probably been in all season. A dislocated shoulder ain't the worst thing in the world, but I'm definitely getting out of bounds trying to protect myself, especially with the clock running. We have no timeouts and we have to go down and score. Trying to make chunk play after chunk play, pick up big yardage as much as possible. I make the mistake of not getting out of bounds, but we can't even settle for field goal range. We have to get a touchdown. It's first down, but that clock is running. 20 seconds left, and what do I see up the field out of my peripherals, dog? Zach making a crazy diving catch to put us in the red zone. This is our big time opportunity. I've been going off script with these routes the entire drive, and it's been working, but right here it's going to put us in the worst position possible. It's actually going to put this game away as my quarterback throws a pick that's going to allow them to walk it back for 6, and it's disrespectful he didn't just kneel this one out. We weren't competing for a national championship or anything, but that loss definitely hurt. But to kind of cushion the blow, I am the Heisman winner, 2-time Heisman winner at that. Taking a look at my rushing numbers for the season, over 3.3K rushing yards, 44 touchdowns on less than 300 carries. Yeah, I was that guy. And receiving out of that backfield, over 60 receptions, nearly 800 yards, 7 touchdowns, a baller. The season overall, successful, but now I have to make the biggest decision of my life. Do I return back to Air Force in my senior season, hit the portal, go compete for a national championship, or do I declare for the NFL draft? Let me know what you think.